Hello, everybody. It is Friday, the 6th of September. I want to talk about the new age that is coming. You know, the ending of this age, the beginning of the new age, the beginning of a new awareness. And is the new age going to be like the old age? Are we going to go around the same circle again? Yeah, what was the beginning will be the end, and the foundation for the next beginning. So let's do it all again. Now, where I'm at the moment is people are talking about ancient aliens and that the gods, the ancient gods were actual beings with advanced technology. And I'm actually with that all the way now. And especially because of the translations of Mauro Bellino, that, especially talking about the kavod, about the glory of God, that which in the text does make absolutely no sense. If Moses speaks to God and says, show me your glory, and first of all God says, well, you can't see it, it will kill you. And then he says, okay, you can see it tomorrow. I haven't got it with me at the moment. I haven't got my glory with me. I have to go and get it. Come back tomorrow. Or when, Ezekiel is being taken up in one of those kavods, being taken up to a different place, and taken to a different place. And he describes the inside of the glory of God, which is obviously a solid object that he is describing. There's so many other things, like the glory of God can be seen up on top of the mountain, or it's going from the east to the west. So the glory of God only exists in a specific place. It's not all over it's not omnipresent. So yes, I would go with that, definitely. But what gets me at the moment is, and they're all doing it, they are disproving what we were taught, what the meaning of the Bible was. But then they all turn around and say, oh, but Jesus was different. The God, the Father of Jesus, was a different God. Really, again, promoting Jesus as the Savior. He's the one that will bring something that is completely different. And I don't know how they are not seeing what I'm seeing. First of all, that when Jesus, before he was arrested and taken up to be crucified, he was seen in conference with two men, and one of them was Moses, and the other was Elijah, who's said to be Elijah. So if he is communicating with them, and they were obviously in touch with, Moses was Yahweh for sure. So how do they think that Jesus' father is somebody different? And when he gets his marching order from them. And then again, how does Jesus return? Now, Moses, there's texts that say Moses was taken up, and I don't know about that. The only thing I can say is I do not know about a text where it says that they buried him. If you know about that, please let me know, because I don't at the moment. I mean, Elijah was definitely taken up in a chariot of fire. And Jesus, again, was being sucked out, full body, out of this reality in the ascension, which is a bit far out. So there was no visible chariot of fire at that moment, but still something rather strange happened there. People don't just fly up in the air and disappear. Into the clouds, again, was there something above the clouds that he was sucked into? And how will he return? And again, Matthew 24:30, then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and all the people of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven. Again, it's coming. It is something that is producing clouds, that is producing lightning, that is producing lights and a great noise. That is how it's been described in the Old Testament. So he's coming again on the clouds, with the clouds of heaven, with power and great glory. And there is the word glory again. Kavod. He's coming with the glory of God in a kavod. But then here, what it says, so if you're actually standing there, you're waiting for your Savior, and he's coming with the clouds in great glory. And then all the people of the earth will mourn. Why? Why are you not all joyful, looking up to the heavens, seeing him coming? Why are the people of the earth mourning at the sight of the Savior, returning with the clouds in a kavod? Again, there's something really strange going on there. Now, as I said, when Jesus was taken up, there was no actual chariot of fire visible. But I would say from Abraham to Moses to Jesus, there's 6,000 years. Now we have changed in 6,000 years. We have evolved, especially in our knowledge, especially in the last 2,000 years, especially in the last few hundred years. There were great changes. Now, I do not believe these beings to be, eternal was a wrong translation anyway. It means unknown, something that is unknown, or a place that is unknown. So they're not eternal, they're not omnipresent, they're not all-knowing, because the text already disproves that as well. So the fact that Jesus was kind of taken up in a different way, they had 6,000 years to evolve their technology. Yeah? So they might have come up with something different. Quite possibly have done, they had enough time. And really, to me, it is the last bit of it, where God comes down and we're all going to be happy, 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 and he wipes away all of our tears. And to me, that is, again, being done Elohim style. Yeah, it's been forced on you. There's going to be some sort of frequency that will elevate us to a higher level of consciousness, into joy. Yeah. And it will be forced upon us. Yeah. So no, that God will not give you, that's what Paul Wallace says, because Jesus said what God would give you, serpents and stones. No, he will not give you serpents of stones this time. He will make you happy, happy, happy. But against your will, or without your consent, say it like that. So, no, there is no difference. And I'm wondering, why can they not see that? Why can I see that? I mean, it's blatantly obvious. Especially if he is, talking to Moses and Elijah, then what are they doing there if it is a completely different God? Elohim, completely different Elohim. I should say Elohim, not God. Why can't they see that? Now, in this world, again, and you can know it in this world, because God has created man in his image. Elohim has created man in his image. And the image of Elohim is I am. The image that Elohim has of themselves. Yeah? We are the powerful ones. We are the ones that were created to rule over the lower consciousnesses and have dominion over them. And there are those in this world that have become godly, full-on godly. And there are those that will serve them. Again, it's just repeating itself. And why do they serve them? And to me, there are three different reasons why they would. One is they don't know that they're doing it. That happens quite often. The other one is that the powerful ones have a hold over them in some way or another, that they can be blackmailed, so they're being forced into service, or they've made a deal, like Abraham made a deal. Yeah, they're doing it out of their free will, and there's something in it for themselves. So again, those that are promoting this thing now, or we must understand the past differently, but we all believe on Jesus coming to save us. What reason, what personal reason do they have for promoting this? And I would say it would be one of the three things. So what are they? Now, again, what's happening at the moment is that Christians, pastors, are already going up against this idea of aliens coming. And they're saying, oh, that is going to be the great deception. No, the great deception was the last 2,000 years. Yeah? Where you were told it's a spiritual thing. Come to that in a minute. And here again, I would agree with Paul Wallace that those that translated the texts were looking for a spiritual God, the translators. So they were using spiritual language. They had no experiential conception, something they have experienced of a flying machine. They didn't know that. They couldn't even think that. But in the past as now, anything that is translated, there is a ruling body in the church that has to approve the translations. Yeah? Was there way back. And those translations that were not approved, if you insisted on speaking about that, you were burned at the stake. Mauro Bellino said he's lucky to live in these days because he would have been burned a long time ago. These days you just lose your job. And I would say that those that, and the highest ranks of the rulership, they have always understood what those texts were talking about. That knowledge was preserved through the ages in those small groups, whereas the rest of us, as I said, we were deceived. That was the deception. When they're actually coming, that is the revelation of the truth. When it becomes an experienced reality, you better believe it. Only at the moment, we've been made to doubt everything. Yeah, this is not true, this is not true. We're doubting ourselves, we don't know where we're at anymore. And I think we're at a point where the truth is being revealed as an experienced reality. We will no longer believe it, even though it's right in front of our eyes. Maybe that's what they're working on. So, and that is now the last question. How do they actually get here? And is it inevitable that this will happen? Yeah, I think we're very close. We are very close. And we really don't want to go there. So, and I think this is where spirituality actually comes into it. Yeah? When it says, and was it Psalm 24, lift up your gates. Yeah? Lift up your desire for something, for a knowledge to be revealed to you. And again, that revelation means knowledge is experienced reality. Revelation, something that was thought of, becomes an experienced reality. And that's what you're asking for in prayer. For something to become an experienced reality. Again, I think one of the hardest things for Christians will be that when it happens that for 2,000 years they've actually been asking for it. Not knowing what they were doing, obviously. So, yes, it will become and experienced reality through our prayer. That's where spirituality comes into it, when we use the power of our prayer to bring this thing into a reality. Now, again, in the New Testament, I keep saying there are two ways in which spirituality, in which our energy body, our spiritual body can be used. And it's just another body that is actually natural to us. It is part of natural man, and natural man long ago used it, knew it was there and used it, was aware of it. We're no longer aware of it. And one way that it could be used was in this world for, and I keep saying that, for healing, for feeding, for just creating things, becoming or making things become a reality that would serve us, that we could give to each other, that would serve humanity. That was one way. Again, Jesus said, but those that would follow me, there was a different way. He went off in a different direction. Yeah? He said, love each other and stuff like that, but those that would follow me. And there comes then the denial of self, the denial of the knowledge of good and bad, really, how a human being would think about these things in order to serve one of the mighty ones. And again, that is what Jesus said all the time. I am doing this to glorify that kingdom. I'm in service of the one that sent me, in service of one of the mighty ones. So there, his knowledge of spirituality was used not to work something in this world, but to make contact with a different reality. And then once you know that other reality, that means you're experiencing that other reality, it becomes a solid reality. It is a solid world. The more you know it, the more solid it will become. I mean, that's really how I think about that. If you see something that is not quite solid yet, means you don't quite know it yet. But once you know it in fullness, it will be a solid reality to you. And here's that two realities are merging at the moment, and we are opening the gates because we're going into spirituality, we're going into understanding of that we are more than this, and that this matrix works on a different level than just the physical. Yeah? And yes, our gaze is to the heavens, waiting for something to come on the clouds. Our gates are lifting up to the heavens, our desire, looking for a savior. But we're not looking at each other and saying, what could we do for one another with that? And that is then being truly human on a greater level. But we're not trying to do that. We need the powerful ones to come and do it for us. That's what we're asking for. And I said, they will return. They were there at the beginning of the age, and the way we're going on, they will return at the end of the age. And then what? We're going to do it all again. Or do we close, or do we not open those gates? But use our spiritual forces, whatever you want to call that, in this world to work things in this world according to what we know is good or bad. And that would be true freedom and self-determination. What is coming from out there won't be. Absolutely will not be. And no, the Father of Jesus is no different. And anyway, what are we saying now? Yeah? When we say, all the Elohim of the Old Testament, they were warmongers, they were doing this and that and that. Yeah? And we served different Elohim. We elected Elohim to become our lords, to lord over us. And now what? they were all shite, but the next one, the next powerful one will be the Savior. Folks, how often have we done that now? I mean, even in this world, how often have we done that now? The next one will be the one. I mean, we've just elected Keir Starmer. Dear God. I mean, to be fair, I think most weren't expecting it anymore, but it definitely proved that the next powerful one was not the one. So in this world, we already know that. We're already at this point where we say no. You know, the next one will be just as bad as the one before. We still haven't quite translated that to the heavens. That knowledge, again, knowledge born out of experience that we have now. We still, when it comes to the heaven, we're still expecting the next one is going to be the one. Yeah, maybe we should go by our own knowing. And here's the last thing I want to say, and that is when Jesus said that the temple, way back when, that the priests were sitting on the knowledge. Yeah, they were like dogs on the cattle's manger. They were sitting on the knowledge and they weren't using it. Was that because they were actually trying to keep those gates shut? Well, the knowledge was there, but they were not using it, knowing what would come through those gates, and they were actually trying to keep it out. Yeah, and they were doing that knowingly. And it seems to me that in this world at the moment there is, again, there are the two ways. I think there are those that are actually trying to keep the gates shut, and there are those that are absolutely promoting that those gates should be open. And maybe that is the choice that we're actually looking at. And then that their coming would not be inevitable. If we keep the gate shut, they cannot get through. If the gate is shut on our end, they cannot get through. So there might be two forces in this world at the moment, those that are trying. Now, it's not that I don't think they're trying to keep the gate shut for our benefit, because they are godly themselves. Only they don't want something more powerful than them in this world. At the moment, they are the bobcats. You know, they are the ones that are the rulers. Yeah, and maybe they're trying to keep the gate shut because of that, to keep their position. And then there are those that are trying to open the gates. But again, we're talking about small minorities that are involved in this struggle, actually knowing what the struggle actually is, whereas the rest of the humanity is sitting here wondering what the hell is going on. And frankly, we're not being asked, are we? Not by them, not by the gods, not by anybody. So, and I mean, this is where actually our awareness and our understanding, that is what it should serve. So that we can stand up and make a conscious decision based on proper information, not false translations. And then really we should stand up and say, you know, I mean, in the end, actually, in the end, would not even have to stand up. You know, we do not have to go up against it. All we have to do is shut our gates. Or find our spiritual energy and just point it toward each other. Yeah? See each other and stop looking at the heavens. And that alone, that's all we would need to do. We don't actually have to go up against them. We just have to turn around and do something different amongst ourselves. And that will be it. I don't think there's anything they could do. Right, okay, that was a lot, and I leave it at this for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. So let's hope that the next age we are actually going somewhere different, please. Anyway, talk to you again soon. Bye.